Hi everyone, welcome back to another Diablo Immortal video. In this video I'm going to be showing my Necromancer build that I use in the Vanguard mode that's been introduced in the latest update for Diablo Immortal. It's a really nice mode, make sure you check it out. At the moment you've got levels 1, 2, 3 and 4 that you can complete, with level 4 being incredibly difficult. Level 3 would be a decent challenge to be able to complete, and you can get some really nice charm drops like level 7, level 9 charms drop for doing level 3. You get 5 rewards, so make sure you check on the left how many rewards that you've actually completed. It will say 0 out of 5 when you've got all 5, and keep an eye on the reset timer as well. So I've got in with a Necromancer build, and I'm going to be showing that off afterwards. What I would like to do first is just show you my playthrough of level 3, just to show you how the build looks like and how the build performs, and then I'm going to show you an attempt at level 4, so at least you can see what happens in level 4 when you do get around to doing it. It's a really good mode, as I said. Just need to stick together. It's best to play it with people that you know and work together with, like in your clan or your warband, and yeah, have a nice mix of different skills. At least one person should have a decent heal charm as well. That's going to be really helpful. Move to one pyre to the next pyre to the next pyre, stick together, help each other out, shield each other, heal each other, give as many buffs as you can, and kill as many enemies as you can. Now the enemies are not infinite, they will stop spawning after you get to the third pyre. You can actually take out all the enemies, but remember that you're up against the clock, so when the boss spawns, it's best to focus on that boss and stop trying to kill all the enemies around you, because they're just going to distract you and the timer's just going to go, especially when you get to level 4. So yeah, it's really fun. I'm going to play out level 3 and level 4, let you watch, and then we'll talk about the build that I used.
Vengeful spirits, heed my call! I must wait.
So as you can see, level 4 is incredibly difficult. We were able to survive, but we just ran out of time at the boss. It had too much health. We were able to take out the enemies and survive in pile 1, 2 and 3 and managed to purify all 3. The boss spawned and it just had so much health. They were just outnumbered with the amount of enemies. But I was quite impressed we managed to survive. That's the main thing. But it seems like we're going to have to take on level 4. Maybe when we get a bit more combat rating, the character gets a bit stronger as the weeks go on, and we all get level 9 charms maybe. That will definitely help. So level 4, at least you got to see what it looks like if you haven't unlocked it and tried it yet. That's what you're going to have to deal with. But level 3, as you can see, is doable. You just need the right party setup. Just look after each other. Make sure you have some buff skills as well as a DPS. You want a nice balance. Move together from one pile to the other. Use your charms continuously. Make sure you keep spamming those charms. And yeah, just do good luck. Just make sure you play with people that you sort of know and you work well with, maybe in your warband or clan. A nice mix of classes. And yeah, just move together from one area to the other. When the boss spawns, focus on the boss. Now the enemies, they're not going to be infinite. I think they stop spawning after pile 3. But the longer you spend taking out the enemies, the less time you have on the boss, and you are under time pressure. So yeah, the other thing to mention is level 9 charms will drop when you complete level 3. So I wouldn't recommend crafting lower level charms. There's no point wasting those crafting components just to like rank up your, I don't know, level 4 or 5 charms ranked up to sort of 6 or something like that. Don't bother wasting your components crafting, because all you're going to have to do is just rerun level 3 every time it resets until you get level 7 or level 9 charms drop. So I can confirm you do get level 9 charms drop with level 3. So I thought it'd be worth pointing that one out. Now, as I said, I've gone in with a Necromancer, and let's head over to the Essence Transfer NPC and talk about my build. I've gone with a build which I felt works for me, as you can see from those 2 videos, how that build works, and it worked really nicely every time I've attempted level 3 with the right party setup, that is. So let's talk about the skills that I use for this Necromancer Vanguard build first. I go with Soulfire for my primary attack, and for the skills I've gone with Grim Scythe as my damage attack. I love this one. I just get to stand in one spot, have those spinning around me, dealing as much damage, and we'll have a look at the essences that I'm paired up with this. Bone Armor is my survivability and buff skill for myself, my party, and my summons. So this is a must, because you don't want to go overly DPS heavy and then die on pile 3 just because you get hit really hard. That would be a shame. So make sure you have some sort of buff, as well as the charms. So I quite like having the heal charms as well as bone armor. Yeah, just have as much survivability as you can with the DPS. So bone armor. Next one, command skeletons. We're really outnumbered in Vanguard. There's so many enemies, and you know, just to help out a little bit more, I've gone in with command skeletons to help. So there's command skeletons, and then obviously to pair up with the skeletons, I've got mages. So the more the merrier. I just wanted to summon my army of the dead to help out with the amount of enemies that are come up against us in Vanguard. These 2 obviously work together nicely, and are going to help me deal damage and take out the enemies around me as I'm trying to purify that pile. So they're the skills that you want in the slots. Now let's have a look at the essences. So let's start off with the helm. So I've gone with this helm, which works nicely with my Grim Scythe. So this slices through the enemy's armor, increasing their damage taken by 11.4% for 6 seconds, up to a maximum of 34.2% and an additional 10% damage. This is because I've awakened all of the slots, and hopefully you have as well, to get those bonuses. So the enemies are not too squishy around you. They will take a while to take down, so I'm hoping I do get closer to that 34.2% with this essence, and deal as much damage as I can with those blades. So that's the helm that I've got on. I mean, you could swap this out for skeletal champions are replaced with skeletal archers, or maybe exploding skeletons, or I think maybe one of the other skeleton We got skeletal mage duration, but that's not really that important because I think they're going to die fairly quick. What else do we have? We've got the rotting zombies one. I wouldn't equip that one. Potentially the Storm Rider Legion one. That might be a good one for your skeletons to deal more damage. But it just depends if how quickly they're gonna die. So I think the two choices here would be either Blinding Storm to change your command skeletons to be Storm Rider Legion skeletons, so they do the lightning damage and have an increased 18%, or stick with what I've got and increase the damage dealt by your Grim Scythe. So they're the two options there. This one's a no-brainer. For the armor, stick to Parting Gift for bone armor. You're going to give your party members, yourself and your summons, 5 charges of damage, immunity, and your cooldown's going to be reduced as well. So this is a definite keep. This for survivability, just to help yourself out and the team. Okay, so for the shoulders, I've gone with depletion and renewal. So because I've picked mages, the mages are going to grow in size and strength the longer it's active, and they're going to increase the damage by 45% after 5 seconds, and you get a reduced cooldown as well. So this is just to get those mages dealing a bit more damage, and if you've got bone armor on them, hopefully they'll stay around for a bit longer, so you can get closer to that 5-second damage increase, up to 45%. So that's the shoulders, and for the legs, I've gone with Hissing Skin. So Grim Scythe now increases all damage you deal by 2% for each enemy hit, up to 10% for 3 seconds. I get a 3.6% cooldown, and I get an additional 10% damage. So this is yet another one just to increase that damage for the Grim Scythe as it's spinning around me. And for example, you could potentially swap this out with, there's another one which is quite good that I use as well. There's this one here, Ravening Silence, where Grim Scythe now triggers all continuous damage on the target it hits, causing them to instantly take the remaining damage, and you get a cooldown reduction as well. So I did try with this to begin with, and then I did swap over to Hissing Skin, and I stuck to that, and it seemed to work nicely for me. For the main hand weapon, I've gone with Defiling Swarm, which is the Reaper's Calling legendary. So this is the important one, which pairs nicely with the other essences. So Reaper's Calling. Grim Scythe now conjures whirling scythes around that orbit around you, damaging enemies and generating corpses. The damage is increased by 18%, and again another 10% damage as well. So this is the main one where I can just stand in one spot where the pile is, hit the skill, and I'll get all those spinning blades around me, and using the other essences, I should get increased sort of damage. So I get the bonus from the slices and still armor slice, and also the increase in the damage they deal. I need to actually double check in the skill section to make sure they do become active. So yeah, this is the main one really, that because you've got so many enemies around you, this is a no-brainer for me. It just keeps spinning around, keeps killing those enemies around you, keeps you surviving longer whilst you keep casting bone armor as well. You just want to hang in there until that purification bar goes all the way to the top. Try not to run around too much and get caught in between enemies. The main shield that I've got is the Umbra Eater Black Wall. So skeletal mages are now mobile and channel beams at multiple nearby enemies that deal more damage the longer they hit the same target. The damage is increased by 18%, and then I get an additional 10% damage. This is one of the new essences, which is one of my favourites. I love seeing the beams go around all of the enemies, and this pairs nicely with depletion and renewal. So definitely have these two together if you do have mages. Now, for the offhand main weapon, I'm using Pierce Hammer because I haven't got any other skeleton essences going on here. This should increase the damage that I deal by 90%, and their life goes up by 10% as well, so they can stay around for that little bit longer and deal as much damage. And for the shield, this is just another survivability one that I had, and I'm kind of using the skeletons. I don't want to die towards the end on pile 3 and then sort of waste that round. So here, life imbalance, 19% of all damage you take is taken by your skeletal champions instead, and those champions have another 10% life. So with these two together, I get 20% extra life on the command skeletons, and yeah, hopefully that just makes them stay around for a bit longer, and if I am in a sticky situation, I get those skeletons up, they take 19% of the damage instead of me. So this is just adding to my survivability. So you could swap these ones out. So I mean, if there's another one you want to have instead with the, you know, on this essence slot, you can just for example, you could swap to Bone Spear instead of the Soulfire, the one that I had, if you want, but that's pretty much the only one. I mean, you could have, yeah, this would be nice on the boss, actually, having the Bone Spear launching the larger penetrating spear, dealing, you know, 32,000 damage, which isn't reduced. So that would be quite nice. Or, you know, if you want to grant your allies increased speed, when your command skeletons die, they grant allies 38% increased attack speed for 3 seconds. So this would actually help you, you know, take down those enemies around the pile just to stay around a bit longer. So no rest, no peace is another good one. But yeah, it's mainly no rest, no peace or pierce hammer, I'd say. And for this one, 19% of all damage you take. So you can either have life in balance, but if you feel fairly confident, then maybe you could go with something else like decreasing the time it takes to raise those skeletal champions, just so you can throw them out faster, because they will die quite quickly. You know, or you could go with something like Soulfire, bouncing to one additional target if you've got Soulfire equipped, or increase the damage that your mages deal with Twin Vestige. What other ones would be? The Soulfire now has a 25% chance to explode on hit. So you've got a few choices to swap out on this slot here. But I've gone with life and balance just for survivability. So definitely keep Parting Gift, Depletion and Renewal one you want to keep, Defiling Swarm you want to keep, Hissing Skin, that one, it's up to you if you want to swap that one out. Black Wall you want to keep as well. And yeah, this one I think is quite nice, having that, you know, try and get up to that 34.2 increased damage. So they're all the essences I'm using. If we go to skills and click on Grim Scythe just have a look. So we've got Reaper's Calling up there, so that's active. And then we have got the Grim Scythe now slices through the enemy's armor, increasing their damage taken. And then we also have the increases all damage you deal by 2% for each enemy hit up to 10%. So, you know, you can see that those essences work together because they're not cancelling each other out or anything. They're all active at the same time for that one skill. So that's the reason I've gone with them. As for set items, well, it's kind of a no-brainer. I've got summon skeletons and I've got mages, so I've gone in with a full shepherd set. So 6-piece shepherds, just to get that frenzy up, deal more damage, increasing the critical hit chance. And the last two, it's up to you if you want to choose having the shield that, you know, absorbs some damage for survivability, or you could just go with some additional damage. I've gone with primary attack damage increased by 15%, or you could go with ignite status. Feel free to swap out the last two set items here, but this is what I've gone with. I had a heal charm that I went in with, so a rank 7 heal charm, but I did also have what did I have? I think it was a rank 7. Yeah, I've got might, so I've got a might charm. So I think first I went in with might, and then I swapped over to heal. But when you do finish level 3, you will get the level 7 charms drop as well. I didn't get lucky with a rank 9 charm, unfortunately, but I did get 5, 6s and 7s drop. Now Paragon, if we have a look at Paragon, I've just gone with Brawler, and this is the combination I've gone with. Brawler, it seemed to work well for me. The one up here, Chase Down, you could swap this one out. I just I think I just carried this one over from the speed build that I had, and I just kept it on. But ideally you might want to sort of deactivate Chase Down, and then you might want to just have Defender of Sanctuary instead. I'd probably just stick to Defender of Sanctuary. I don't know why I actually had Chase Down. That was probably a mistake, having Chase Down. So this is probably the setup that I'd want to go in with. You can have Slinger as well. Slinger's a good one, a nice offensive one. But yeah, I've gone in with this Paragon in Brawler, this combination, just to increase the size, maximum life, taking more damage, being able to run through the enemies when I go from one pile to the next pile. And for your legendary skills, so as I said, I'm a Necromancer. I want to try and help out with the support as well as damage. I think going in with Benefactor is the safe option here. It's got a cooldown of every 30 seconds, but you do get the shield, which absorbs damage equal to 15% of your maximum life for 6 seconds. And obviously this pairs really nicely with bone armor. So you do see that shield pop up over all of your allies. So Benefactor for the legendary skills. And that's pretty much it. That's my Vanguard Necromancer build. You can see that my combat rating isn't anything too impressive. I mean, I'm 40,544 at the moment. I'm trying to increase the combat rating a bit more. Hopefully some of these legendaries I've got on the right are going to help out, and some drops from hell bounties this week. So yeah, resonance is just under 4k and combat rating is 40,500, just so you get an idea of how this build was working nicely. I've got Follower's Burden just to help me with those mages and the skeletons that were summoned, and I've got Mother's Lament just to help with the critical hit chance. I know everyone's going to have different legendary gems, so I don't really like to compare and sort of show the legendary gems much, because not everyone's going to have the same set at the same star level and rank as well. But if you do want to see, I've got Blood-Soaked Jade, Roiling Consequence, Echoing Shade, Phoenix Ashes for survivability. I've got Gloom and Starfire Shard. So they're the ones that I've got available. They're the legendary gems which I'm working on for my character, and they work well for me. But definitely Follower's Burden and have something which increases your critical hit chance and damage. But the rest seems to work nicely. So yeah, there you go. I hope you enjoyed watching, and remember, you've got rewards that you need to collect for Vanguard as well. In Toil of Virtue, if you hit on the Vanguard tab, there will be rewards to claim there, and as you can see, I've got all of these, so that's quite nice. I don't have to worry about them. And yeah, also make sure keep an eye on Festival of the Ancient Moon as well. There's lots of nice essences to grab there. So that's my Vanguard build with a Necromancer. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope that was useful, and then you can use that as a base and sort of tweak it to how it works for you. It worked for me, so hopefully it helps somebody else out there. So hope you enjoyed watching. Good luck with Vanguard and getting those high level charms, and see you on the next video. Goodbye.